Hey fans, it's Mim and welcome back to Nightfall Nation. So, it's really hot and I have no lights on, so I'm sorry, and I'm dying, and we're gonna try to ignore that for now. I'm sorry if I'm sweaty or sticky or whatever, there's no AC, no fans, no nothing, I'm dying. So, before I die of a heat stroke, it is TV week on Nightfall Nation, so I'm going to be talking about couples, specifically The Vampire Diaries and Teen Wolf. So, let's get started. Okay, so the first couple we're going to talk about is from The Vampire Diaries, and that is Elena and Stefan. So, they were basically one of the very first couples aside from Elena and Matt, but we're not going to talk about them. Elena and Stefan, when they first got together, I felt like Elena was kind of like the quieter side of herself, and I didn't really like that. Like, I felt like she was keeping a part of herself kind of like tucked away, and Stefan was like super protective of her, or at least in my perspective he was. And so I was never like, I liked that they were together, like I think he was good for her in a sense, but I'm also kind of glad that they're not together anymore. I don't know, I just feel like she's did better without him. Like, I'm glad they were together, I wish they were, but I also wish they weren't. That does not make sense, I'm sorry. Okay, but yeah, they were good while they were together, but I'm glad they're not together anymore. Next couple is Elena and Damon. So I personally really liked Elena more with Damon than I did with Stefan, because I feel like with Damon she was more herself. Like, she didn't really try to keep any one part of herself kind of tucked away. Like, she was just all out there and everything. And I thought that was really cool. Like, she was able to be more herself with Damon, and that's important in a relationship to be able to feel like you can be yourself. Yeah, so I'm really glad they were together. I think he was definitely good for her. But yeah, Elena and Damon were a good match. I'm glad that happened, definitely. Next is Caroline and Klaus. So I am well aware that Caroline was with a lot of people. She was. With Klaus, I know it was never really like a real like relationship, like with a title and everything. But the fact that he cared so much about her, like it genuinely looked like he cared about her, that was really cool for me, because she was so, I don't know, I feel like she was used to guys just kind of like, I don't even know, like they cared about her, but it was different. And then I feel like with Klaus, he was genuinely concerned for like her well-being. Like, he basically treated the chick like a princess, and he asked her to go to Louisiana with him, and she just blows him off. Like, what is up with her? Yeah. So definitely, I think Caroline and Klaus should have been a thing, like an actual thing, even if they weren't. But yeah, they should have been. So next is Bonnie and Jeremy. Now, let me be completely honest and say, if my best friend dated my younger brother, that'd be really hella weird. Like, no joke. I'm not sure I would be entirely okay with that ever. And Elena was like, what? And then she was cool with it, and I'm just like, no, I could not do that. I would be weirded out all the time, forever. So I don't know how she did that. I'm gonna need her to teach a class or something, because that'd be weird. Luckily, none of my friends are dating my brother right now, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, they were really cute together. I really liked that they really genuinely cared about each other, and they were just, yeah, but it was still weird. Like, I don't know, maybe it was weird. But yeah, so that's on the Vampire Diaries. So now we can move on to Teen Wolf. And the first one is Styles and Lydia. So personally, I love Styles. He's one of my favorite characters. But I also like Lydia, and because she's smart, she's funny when she wants to be. She's kind of like the sarcastic funny. But yeah, she's funny. And so since the very beginning of the show, people have been like trying to like shove them together. And I've really been against that, like, since, like, the beginning, because I never felt like they had, like, enough chemistry for it to be, like, a romantic relationship. Like, they were just always really good friends, even though Styles has always liked Lydia. but I never felt like they had enough, like, I think he thought he liked her enough to be in a relationship with her, but he didn't really, if that makes sense. I don't think it does. So definitely Styles and Lee is not a combination, like, romantically that I would pick, but friendship wise, he's like a smart ass and he's like witty and she's really smart and stuff, and so I felt like they made a really great combination for like just the overall show without being in a relationship. So then there's Styles and Liam, and a lot of people like them and a lot of people don't, and I'm kind of on the bridge about them. Like, I really don't know, like, they're not my favorite couple. I feel like Styles could have a better Styles could have a better partner, but I don't hate them. Like, they bring out really good parts of one another that could be really important to the show, but I also don't feel like they're the best possible partners they could have. Like, I feel like there's something more to their relationship than just what they have. So next is Scott and Allison. So let me just take a moment of silence. Spoiler alert, Allison, I'm sorry. Can we talk about how awesome she was with a crossbow? Because that chick was phenomenal. Except for that one time where they were all hallucinating, she almost like shot through Lydia's forehead. Minor details, but still. So Scott and Allison were definitely my favorite couple of the show. Like, they were so cute together, and they were the kind of couple where they know they like each other, so they don't have a reason to like throw PDA all over the place and be like shoving the relationship in people's faces. And they really like cared about each other enough to like go against people's. Allison was always going behind her dad to be with Scott, and Scott was kind of like trying to get Arjun to like him, but also still going behind his back to be with Allison. I don't know, I just felt like it brought really great dynamic into the show, like between them, and so it sucks that she died. And so now Scott and Kira. I like Kira. She's really great, you know, all the katana and all of that stuff. She's really cool. But I don't necessarily like her with Scott. Maybe it's just because I'm biased towards Allison. But I feel like they have more of like a showy, flashy, like PDA kind of relationship, and I'm not really into that. Like, maybe I'm just being weird, but they're not my favorite couple. I don't hate them. Yeah. So last but not least is one that is not actually a couple, but the girls would kill me if I don't talk about it. Styles and Derek. So whether they have a romance or like an undercover romance or whatever it is, they have to be like two of the characters that bring the most to the show. Like, I don't know, I feel like the scenes and just like the interaction between them is always really entertaining, and so it's hard to believe they're not like, there isn't something deeper with like their characters. Like, something is going on, I know it is. And so I don't know, I just feel like there could be something going on there. And even if there isn't, that's what fanfiction is. Shouldn't have given us the power to do it. Yeah, so I think that's all of the couples I've got to talk about. And so, yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!